welcome back to the channel on Provenzo Vids, and tonight's video brings you a very interesting video. And the reason why I say it's interesting because, you know, as we see the expansion talk ramp up about having the next 18th NRL club come in, or the next club that will potentially come in and be the 18th club. You know, there's plenty of talk about that and like what the next club will be called and whatever. I mean, we've seen PNG, we've seen Perth, we've seen another Sydney club, another Queensland club. And I'm just thinking, nah, step aside those clubs, because the club that I want to personally see, and that's the reason why I'm talking about this particular club tonight, the South Island Kea. So the South Island Kea is a club I want to see come into the competition. The last couple of weeks I've seen this sort of idea about having another New Zealand team ramp up now. And honestly, I love it because I think another New Zealand team would really be good for the game. I'll get into my full reasons soon, obviously, but just like, yeah, I'm very passionate about having another New Zealand team. I sort of talked about this last year too, because I don't know if anyone would remember, but I'll leave a link to that video in the description down below anyway. But I talked about a team called the Wellington Orcas, and basically that whole video is about why I think a second New Zealand team should come in, and that's what tonight's video will be like too, but just like, that's an example of what I was sort of referring to last year and how I want another New Zealand team. So, yeah, South Island Kea. So the Kea is a native bird in New Zealand that roams around the sort of South Island region. So it makes sense, I guess. But yeah, as a club, I want that to happen. But before I get into my full force, please be sure to like this video. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please comment your thoughts in the comments down below, and like, just let me know if you're on the board with another New Zealand team, or do you want to go differently and go for an expansion club elsewhere? Let me know in the comments down below. But here we go. Enjoy. Right, straight off the bat, why I believe there has to be more investment in New Zealand in terms of rugby league. Now, obviously, rugby union is always going to be the biggest sport, I reckon, in New Zealand, and as it should be, because, you know, when you talk to someone in New Zealand that follows rugby union, they really have a story behind why they love the sport of rugby union, and it's obviously the primary sport in New Zealand, right? And see, obviously rugby league will never be as big as it. I like to think it is, but it's not. Especially me being there twice already to New Zealand, I just know it's already bigger than rugby league, rugby union is. But see, if you add another New Zealand team, there's more of an avenue for kids that come out of colleges or schools. Because most kids that come out of those sort of places, they all want to be the next All Black for their country, because representing their country is so important to them. And as it should be, because it's a great privilege and achievement if you go as far as representing your own country, especially for the All Blacks. And if you're not an All Black, you can play for another team in New Zealand that's a rugby union side. So, see, there's always options to, you know, play in union no matter what in New Zealand. But with rugby league and stuff like that, if you want to stay in New Zealand, the only club you've got is the Warriors. And the Warriors are a club that's just a very strong club, obviously. But not until this year and last year, they haven't been really a successful franchise overall. So you may be thinking, why would another New Zealand team be the reasoning to bring another team in? You know, Warriors haven't been that great in their existence, and why does it make sense to bring another New Zealand team in? Well, I think it's a good reason too, because obviously the talent pool is huge over in New Zealand. There's so many kids that are into sports, right? And not every kid's going to make it to union. So rugby league would open up another opportunity, especially if you added the South Island Keas. It creates another pathway for those kids to want to play rugby league, because you don't have to just go to the Warriors, or you don't have to just travel out of New Zealand, go to the Broncos, go to New South Wales to play for this club or whatever, play for the Roosters, Broncos, whatever. Because most kids that don't make it to the Warriors team either have to travel out of home and go to Sydney or Brisbane or wherever outside of New Zealand, or they just give up on their dream and become a carpenter, become a tradesman. That's a real reality of what happens to those sort of kids that aspire to be players for rugby league or rugby union, but then just give up on their dream. But see, if you had another New Zealand team, because look, union's bigger, but obviously rugby league is pretty big too, and it creates more of an avenue, more opportunities for these kids to realise and play for their NRL dream. It's not over if you had another New Zealand team. So the South Island Kea would be fantastic for the game, and open up a wide opportunities for those kids. But also on Sky, like Sky Sports. I'd say most residents in New Zealand have Sky. And obviously the Warriors are the only club that they really know, especially as a rugby league club over there. But adding the South Island Kea would make the watch ratings go from here to up here, especially on Sky, or TV ratings in general, because it's another Kiwi team. It's another team that is happening over in New Zealand, and it brings a whole lot of enjoyment and a lot of eyeballs watching this South Island Kea team. So really, it's exciting to see, and I do believe that's investment in rugby league over in New Zealand is so important because it's such a great catchment area and it's such a talented place to find the best talent over there. So I reckon, having another New Zealand team would create opportunities for those kids to have a rugby league dream be achieved instead of giving up on their dream for good, especially if the Warriors are the only club they're going to go to, or they're going to travel out of New Zealand and go to New Sydney or Brisbane or Queensland, just whatever. So it opens up a broad wide of opportunities. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's the first reasoning. Now onto the talent pool in New Zealand. So I guess I sort of explained that before as well, but I'll talk about it again. But yeah, again, the talent pool in New Zealand's huge. Like obviously, the country itself, it's very sporty. Obviously, a lot of New Zealand people love their sport, and as I said before, rugby union's the sort of pinnacle of that country as a sport. But again, adding the South Island Kea would definitely make it more of a rugby league, get a bit more exposed out there, especially in New Zealand, and get a bit more recognition, a bit more of a sort of catchment in terms of as another sports club related to rugby league out there. That will definitely get a bit more kids interested. But yeah, obviously the talent pool is huge. I think Sydney has the best, in my honest opinion. I know Queensland has a great sort of variety of talent, especially in the regions over there. But look at Panthers, right? Look at them. They've found some of the best kids in their local area. Their system's crazy. Their pathways is the best in the business, and I think Sydney has always had a really good catchment area in terms of finding the best talent out there. And New Zealand's not too far behind, in my opinion. I don't know where they would rank between Queensland, New South Wales, and whatever. But they're definitely right up there with those two other states, I think. But yeah, New Zealand's huge. Like obviously, you've got a lot of great areas in New Zealand, especially for finding talent. So obviously, the South Island Kea did come in. It's in Christchurch, and Christchurch I think is a pretty nice area of a lot of great things to do. And I haven't been there yet. I've been to Auckland, honestly, but I know Christchurch. Looking at the photos, it's beautiful place, and I have no doubt it's a place where you can really find some talent and really build some sort of system out there, I reckon. So yeah, in terms of just all that, getting a bit more talent out there and having a bit more pathways to success, especially, it'd be really good. So I really do think the talent pools in New Zealand should be a big thing that NRL look into, the rugby league community that does get behind. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know many rivalries in terms of sports that have rivalries in New Zealand, like especially in the same country. I don't know many rivalries in New Zealand, like in terms of sport, but I reckon if you add the South Island Keas, they can definitely build a head rivalry with the New Zealand Warriors, 110%. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, look, obviously as I said before, the talent in New Zealand's crazy. The Warriors won't be the only club anymore that will get their hands on the best talent in New Zealand. At the South Island Keas, they'll definitely come swooping in and trying to take some of the the best sort of young players they can find, and then all of a sudden the Warriors will be like, hang on, well, this is sort of our long-term catchment area. We've been getting the best talent from New Zealand in ages. They'll try and tell the Keas, or the South Island Keas, to back off, but obviously if they come into the competition, they'll take as many great young juniors as they can away from the Warriors, and that will definitely spark a rivalry. That will definitely try and bring a lot of feistiness to the table. I mean, that's why they brought the Dolphins in too, because they're trying to make Dolphins and Broncos a similar thing, because both clubs are trying to steal their local juniors and whatever, because they're both based in Brisbane pretty much. But yeah, that'll take time to be a rivalry, Broncos Dolphins. But I think this one, if it was a New Zealand rivalry, this would spark up a lot quicker, in my honest opinion. obviously in the one country as well, which helps. And yeah, definitely bring a lot of feistiness to the table, as I said before, and just makes things interesting because there could be the next Stacey Jones out there, but then you have the Warriors and the Keas, or the Kea fighting over both or over him, like over that young guy who could be the next SJ, Stacey Jones, or Simon Mannering, whoever. Like, there'll definitely be a lot of fighting between getting that best young gun to that club. So, yeah, like, it makes things interesting. It really does. And, it'd make New Zealand a bit more of an attractive place to go to as well. I mean, it's a very good place to go to. And obviously, the Warriors have never had any issues finding talent to come over to New Zealand. But I guess now having another New Zealand team would definitely make it a lot more interesting and make it a lot more easier for those players who live in Australia and want to come over to New Zealand, because the Warriors aren't the only club you're going to go to. You can go to the Kea if you prefer to go there. It's that other New Zealand team. And I'll be honest in saying this too, but I'd rather stay in New Zealand compared to PNG. There's no way I'd move to PNG even with special benefits. New Zealand is a great country. There's a reason why there's so many tourists that go over there, because I love exploring over there and whatever. But in terms of rugby league, which we're talking about, yeah, that's why players get attracted to the place in New Zealand. And yeah, don't have to go to the Warriors. You got the South Island Kea you can also go to, so there's options. And yeah, but in terms of a rivalry, how good would that be? A New Zealand rivalry, like the local derby, pretty much, if you want to call it like that in New Zealand. But yeah, one country, two big franchises in terms of rugby league in the one country. Yep, bring it on. I love it. As it says here, former NRL CEO David Moffat has launched the Christchurch-based NRL bid. A brand new 25,000 roof stadium will be opened in Christchurch in 2026. South Island NRL bid wants to share the venue of Super Rugby team Crusaders. This is a separate bid to the other South Island bid, which was announced early in February. Yep, so clearly there's a backing there, because the former NRL CEO David Moffat has gone behind this. And I do remember from the very get-go, he was very keen on bringing another New Zealand team. He was very on board with it, and it helps a lot. Actually, it really does help a lot, because I'm assuming Moffat has a lot of connections with the NRL still, even though he's not the CEO anymore. But obviously his backing would be pretty huge in terms of getting, his point across to why there should be another New Zealand team. And yeah, he'll push, I reckon, and hopefully it goes as far as it can go to, get this team up and rolling, because it'd be great to see it happen. But, obviously, like I said in that article there, a Christchurch stadium will be built, and this will be built in 2026. And I believe the Warriors will be actually playing that new stadium in 2026 as well, because I remember seeing that, well, last year I think when the draw was announced for this year and just for the other years as well, for the Warriors especially, they've got a contract to play Napier in New Zealand, and I think there was somewhere else, can't remember exactly where, but they've got a contract to also play in Christchurch, and that's at the new stadium too. And this new stadium will have a roof over it. It'll be like a mini CommBank. I mean, looking at the photos already, it already reminds me of CommBank a little bit, but it's got an actual roof over it. It looks bigger, and I mean, yeah, it's very similar to CommBank, and very similar, but obviously it looks bigger from the outside, but we'll see how it looks in the inside when it does get built. But yeah, look, obviously it'll be fantastic having another, I guess, sort of New Zealand stadium, Christchurch Stadium would be awesome to have. Yeah, no, it looks mad, and I think the South Island Kea would be the perfect club to utilise that new stadium going forward. And I just think they've got such a great sort of system already building in place. Like, obviously they've got a jersey set up, the South Island Kea, they've got a logo set up, they've got a backing of a former NRL CEO. They've already got their own sort of base in New Zealand, like the Warriors have Auckland, they've got Christchurch, South Island Kea. They've got their own stadium in the making. And I know that's going to be the Super Rugby team, the Crusaders, as I said there, but they'll share it with them. And there's no problem with that, because the Broncos, don't they share don't they share Suncorp with a couple of union clubs? I'm pretty sure they do. So yeah, there should be no issue at all. And yeah, they've really got a good base happening there, and it's really building. So unlike PNG, where it's really a mix between Cairns and where they should be based in Cairns or Port Moresby, like, it's a real mix, and they don't really have a clear indication to where things would be based and what the whole idea is. But with another New Zealand team, at least you got a bit of a mind set on what's going to happen. Like you've already got the stadium being built, you got the colours of what the jersey would be, and the main primary colours of what the club will be represented as, and they've got the logo and whatever. Got a lot of support, and a lot of Warriors fans want to see it happen too, from what I've been reading. So it all makes sense. So I really hope this happens. I really do. But what do you think? Are you in favour of another New Zealand team, and would you go in that direction, or would you go elsewhere and look for another club that wouldn't be in New Zealand? That could be like a Perth or whatever else, or Adelaide. Like, just what direction would you go? And let me know in the comments down below. But obviously, I'm very in favour of having another New Zealand team. Yeah, I feel like it'd be great for the game. I feel like it'd be great for the talent to at least recognise the dream of playing rugby league, especially, and gives them more of an avenue to play the game. And yeah, no, I think it's more preferred than PNG. I'll say that much. But yeah, hopefully it happens. And the more talk there is, the more possibility that this will happen. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you for watching, and hope you all enjoy.